श्री भगवान उवाच काम एष क्रोध एष रजो गुण समुद्भव महाशनो महापापम विद्धेनम इह वेरिणम. My request to everyone, be very attentive. Very, very important. Series of verses we're going to start with. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kam Esha Krodha Esha Rajo Guna Samudbhava Mahashano Mahapapama Viddhenam Iha Verinam. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kama Esha Krodha Esha Rajo Guna Samudbhava Mahashano Mahapapama Viddhenam Iha Verinam. Word by word meaning like this. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, the personality of Godhead, said, Kamaha, lust, Eshaha, this, Krodha, Krodha, wrath, Eshaha, this, Rajaha, guna, the mode of passion, Samudbhava, born of, Maha Ashanaha, all devouring, Mahapapama, greatly sinful, Vidhi, no, Enam, this, Iha, in the material world, Verinam, greatest enemy. So today we are going to discuss about who is your greatest enemy in this material world. कौन सबसे बड़ा शत्रु है हमारा इस भौतिक जगत में? Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is all devouring, sinful enemy of this world. Please repeat after me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is all devouring, sinful enemy of this world. यदि माता जी का पपट पढ़िए. Please note down key highlights from this purport. Okay, very, very important. Lot of learning. Please note down important things. Then we'll discuss all of them.
Purport. When a living entity comes in contact with the material creation, his eternal love for Krishna is transformed into lust. in association with the mode of passion. Or, in other words, the sense of love of God becomes transformed into lust, as milk in contact with sour tamarind is transformed into yogurt. Then, again, when lust is unsatisfied, it turns into wrath. Wrath is transformed into illusion, and illusion continues the material existence. Therefore, lust is the greatest enemy of living entity, and it is lust only which induces the pure living entity to remain entangled in the material world. Wrath is the manifestation of mode of ignorance. These modes exhibit themselves as wrath and other corollaries. If, therefore, the mode of passion, instead of being degraded in the mode of ignorance, is elevated to mode of goodness by the prescribed method of living and acting, then one can be saved from degradation of wrath by spiritual attachment. The Supreme Personality of Godhead expanded himself into many for his ever increasing spiritual bliss, and the living entities are part and parcels of spiritual bliss. They also have partial independence, but by misuse of their independence, when the service attitude is transformed into the propensity for sense enjoyment, they come under the sway of lust. This material creation is created by Lord to give facility to the conditioned souls to fulfill these lustful propensities. And when completely baffled by prolonged lustful activities, the living entities begin to inquire about their real position. This inquiry is the beginning of Vedanta Sutras, wherein it is said, Athato Brahma Jigyasa, one should inquire into the Supreme, and the Supreme is defined in Srimad Bhagavatam as if Yanmadi Asya Yato Nyavadi Itarasatascha. The origin of everything is the Supreme Brahman. Therefore, origin of lust is also supreme. If therefore lust is transformed into love for the Supreme or transformed into Krishna consciousness, or in other words, desiring everything for the Krishna, when both lust and wrath can be spiritualized, Hanuman, the great servitor of Lord Rama, exhibited his wrath by burning the golden city of Ravana. But by doing so, he became the greatest devotee of the Lord. Here also, Bhagavad Gita, the Lord induces Arjuna to engage his wrath upon his enemies for the satisfaction of Lord. Therefore, lust and wrath, when they are employed in Krishna consciousness, become our friends instead of our enemies. Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Thank you, Mataji. So did you write key points? What all you noted down? Anyone? Any क्या note? Yes, there, Mataji.
प्रणाम प्रभु जी।
हाँ, Mataji.
थोड़ा सा किया आउटलाइन कि जीवात्मा का भगवान के प्रति जो शाश्वत प्रेम होता है वो इस भौतिक सृष्टि में आने के कारण रजोगुण के संपर्क में आने से वो काम रूप में परिवर्तित हो जाता है और फिर कामनाएं पूरी नहीं होती तो क्रोध में परिवर्तित होती है, क्रोध मोह में, और इस तरह से सृष्टि में मनुष्य का, इस जीवात्मा का जो मोह है वो निरंतर बना रहता है। लेकिन अगर उस मोह से उसको छुटकारा दिलाना है तो उसको आध्यात्मिकता की ओर, सतोगुण के द्वारा उसे वापस भगवान की शाश्वत प्रेम की ओर मोड़ा जा सकता है। तो मूल कारण उसका भगवान से युक्त होने का यही काम ही है।
बहुत अच्छा, very nice, thank you very much, nicely summarize everything. बहुत अच्छा. So, what is the constitutional position of all of us being souls? Is part and parcel of Krishna. That is our constitutional position of the soul. Tiny soul. We are all tiny, tiny souls. And Supreme Soul is Vibhu, and we are Anu, very small. And the natural propensity of the soul is to serve Krishna, to love Krishna. Natural propensity. Why? It's a part and parcel of the super soul. तो स्वाभाविक रूप से आत्मा परमात्मा से प्रेम करती है आध्यात्मिक जगत में. In the spiritual world, soul is always in service attitude, service mood, how to serve Krishna in the best manner, best possible manner. That is the natural propensity of the soul. But when this soul, with the natural propensity of love, comes in contact with this material world, or Rajoguna of this material world, this love for God transforms into lust for oneself. Selfless love for Krishna transforms into selfish desires for oneself. And this is called lust. So we all are victims of lust. Why? We have forgotten how to love Krishna. That is our root problem for our material existence. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, and why are we discussing subject, by the way? Having lost connection with Krishna, so there is an urgent need to re-establish this connection. Correct? So that we go back to our natural position and get rid of all miserable situations in this material world, all miseries of this life. How do we connect back to Krishna? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about 3 important ways to connect: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Dhyana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. Yoga means to connect. Based on one's current situation, one can connect with Krishna in different ways. If one has a lot of material desires, he cannot give up his work because he has a lot of material desires. He has to work hard to fulfill the desires. Then when he is trying to connect with Krishna through the fruit of that karma, result of that karma, that is called as Karma Yoga. Okay? When we try to connect with Krishna with the result of our karma, that is called as Karma Yoga. And in this chapter, we have been discussing about Nishkama Karma Yoga, which means no attachment to the fruits of our work. Purpose is to get out of this lustful propensity. And when one continues Nishkam Karma Yoga for a longer time, he is elevated to Jnana Yoga. He understands the true nature of this material world. He understands true nature of oneself. And then he develops a desire to get out of this material world. This is called Jnana Yoga, connecting with Krishna through knowledge. Knowledge about oneself, knowledge about this material world. Still, there is no desire to serve. Remember this. In Jnana Yoga, still there is no desire to serve. Desire is to get out of this material world. In Bhakti Yoga, one develops desire to serve Krishna practically. That's why it is of highest grade. Why? Bhakti Yoga immediately transforms this lustful propensities into back to loving propensity. That's why Bhakti Yoga is supreme. It immediately puts us back into our natural position. That's why Prabhupada everywhere, throughout the book, whether Krishna is talking about Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga, Prabhupada is emphasizing on Bhakti Yoga. Again and again, again and again. That is the sum and substance of this Bhagavad Gita. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, the difference between love and lust is defined. Okay, we'll try to understand that. What is love and what is lust? Lust does not mean only sexual propensity. Yeah? Any material desire is a result of lust. काम वासना जैसे हिंदी में बोलते हैं हम लोग. इन चैतन्य चरितामृता आदि लीला 165 sorry, it is defined the difference between. Can you see the slide? Sorry, this picture in front of you. Visible? Can you see? Atmendriya priti vancha tare balikam. Krishnendriya priti ichha dhare prema nam. The desire to gratify one's own senses is kama or lust. But the desire to please the senses of Lord Krishna is prema. Very simple to understand the difference between love and lust. When one's aim of life is to satisfy Krishna only, it is love. When one's aim of life is personal material desires, satisfaction, satisfying one's own senses, it is lust. When one forgets service attitude, servitude, natural propensity for Krishna, he becomes a victim of lust immediately. Krishna bhuliya jeev bhoga vancha kare. When one is not connected with Krishna, he naturally develops material desires because of being in contact with this material world. Natural, Rajoguna, Samudbhava, born out of Rajoguna. No wonder Krishna is advising in Bhagavad Gita, Man mana bhagavad bhakto, 24 hours you remember me so that you can protect yourself from lustful propensities. That's why Krishna is advising 24 hours. We have to mold our life in such a way that we are able to remember Krishna all the time. Otherwise, we'll become victim of material desires, lustful propensities. And when one becomes victim of lust, he loses his mental balance completely. His mind is always anxious, disturbed, stressful, depressed. Uddhav asked Krishna in Bhagavatam, Krishna, please define what is mental equilibrium. Manasik Santulan kya hai? What is the definition of mental equilibrium? Krishna defines this as when one's intelligence is completely absorbed in me, he attains mental equilibrium. This is mental equilibrium. So as long as our mind intelligence is connected with Krishna conscious activities, we can remain balanced, mentally balanced. Otherwise, imbalanced. Now, what is this love? First, we'll try to understand love and then we'll go to lust. What is this loving propensity? And who is the best example of this loving propensity? These are gopis of Vrindavan. Prabhupada highlighted this everywhere. See, all the sannyasis talk about gopis. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talk about gopis. Bhagavatam talks about gopis being the supreme devotee of Krishna. Why? They can do anything and everything for the satisfaction of Krishna without any personal motivation. Even sacrificing personal interest, they will try to satisfy Krishna. That is love. Once Narad Muni asked this question to Krishna. What is so special about gopis? You always talk about, you're always thinking about them. क्या खास बात है gopis में? So Krishna thought, let me demonstrate with some example. So Krishna sent Narada Muni saying, I have got severe headache. And this headache can be cured only by the dust of my devotees. From the dust of the lotus feet of my devotees. Go and ask my devotees to give me some dust. I can apply and get rid of this headache. So Narad Muni was wondering, what is this? I've got headache and get me some dust of lotus feet of my devotees. But Narad followed as Krishna advised him. So Narad Muni first went to all the demigods. Indra, Chandra, Varuna. If Krishna has got headache, he is asking dust of your lotus feet. Can you please give me some dust from your lotus feet? वो सब पीछे हट गए. बोले, have you gone mad, Narad Muni? If Krishna applies dust of my lotus feet, I may have to go to hellish conditions. Isn't it? यदि मेरे चरणों की धूल कृष्ण के सर पे लग गई तो मुझे सीधा नरक जाना पड़ेगा. Look at his position, look at my position. So they refused. Demigods refused to give dust of the lotus feet, thinking that they may have to go to hell because of this act. They thought this is sinful to give my dust of lotus feet to Krishna, which he will apply on his head. So Krishna, like this, Narad Muni went to many people. Everybody refused with the same logic that they may have to suffer hellish conditions if they give dust to the lotus feet. Then Narad Muni went to Vrindavan. He went to gopis. He asked gopis, Krishna has got severe headache. He is asking some dust of your lotus feet. Can you please give? And gopis immediately, they brought buckets and buckets. Hey, take this, take this, take this. Immediately go. Narad Muni wondering, he's asking gopis, do you know if Krishna applies dust of your lotus feet, you may have to go to hellish conditions? Gopis said, doesn't matter. Even if we have to suffer for millions of lifetimes in hell and Krishna gets relief for 1 second, this deal is acceptable to us. What did they say? Even if we have to suffer millions and trillions of lifetimes in hellish conditions, but it gives a second, a moment of relief to Krishna, this deal is acceptable to us. This is called love. Sacrificing all personal interest for the satisfaction of Krishna. This is love. So soul by nature has this loving propensity. Like a bird by nature has flying propensity, correct? Bird need not be sent to a training school to learn how to fly. It is by nature. है ना? अपने आप कुछ समय के बाद पक्षी उड़ना शुरू कर देते हैं. उनको सिखाया नहीं जाता है. It's natural. Like sweetness is natural tendency of sweet. है ना? Liquidity is a natural tendency of water. Similarly, loving propensity for the Supreme Lord is a natural propensity of the soul. But due to the contact with the Rajoguna of this material world, this love is transformed into lust. Prabhupada gives example like a milk when comes in contact with tamarind, it turns into curd. Similarly, love transformed into lust. So currently, we are all victims of lust. And Krishna says, Mahashano Mahapapama. This is our biggest enemy who is making us do all the sinful activities in this material world. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, this is the root cause of our material existence. हम यहाँ भौतिक जगत में फंसे हुए हैं इसी शत्रु के कारण, which is called as काम or lust. Okay, now we read the purport of Pradeep Prabhuji. आप purport पढ़िए इसका for this verse which is visible on the screen.
Kapat. The revealed scriptures describe pure love as follows.
Sarvatha dhvams rahitam sati api
Sarvata dharma
dhamma
rahitam satya api davnasa karne yad bhava bandhayatam yanaha saprem parikritaha. How do you spell, sir?
parikirtitaha.
Parikirtitaha. If there is ample reason for the dissolution of a conjugal relationship, and yet such a dissolution does not take place, such a relationship is of intimate love is called pure. The predominated gopis
Gopis.
were around the Krishna
Gopis.
in such pure love. The predominated gopis were bound to Krishna in such pure love. For them, there was no question of sexual love based on sense gratification. Their only engagement in life was to see Krishna happy in all respects, regardless of their own personal interest. They dedicated their souls only for satisfaction of the personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. There was not the slightest tinge of sexual love between gopis and Krishna. The author, Shri Chaitanya
Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Kritamrita asserts with authority the sexual love is the matter of personal sense enjoyment. All regulative principles in Vedas pertaining to desires of popularity, fatherhood, wealth, so on are different phases of sense gratifications.
So all such desires of popularity, having wealth, name, fame, they're all different grades of sense gratification. Lust. Okay.
Acts of sense gratification may be performed under the cover of public welfare, nationalism, religion, altruism, ethical codes, biblical codes, health directives, fruitive action, bashfulness, tolerance, personal comfort, liberation from material bondage, progress, family affection, or fear of social ostracism or legal punishment. But all these categories are different subdivision of one substance, sense gratification.
Very important. Even liberation, mukti, is also a division of sense gratification. Why? The purpose is I should get relieved from all the miseries of this material world. Nothing to do with enjoyment of Krishna. Nothing to do with satisfaction of Krishna. It is I should get relieved from all the miseries. That is also extended form of sense gratification.
All such good acts are performed basically for one's own sense gratification. For no one can sacrifice his personal interest while discharging these much advertised moral and religious principles. But above all, this is transcendental stage in which one feels himself to be only an internal servitor of Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead. All acts performed in the sense of servitude are called pure love of God, because they are performed for the absolute sense gratification of Sri Krishna. However, any act performed for purpose of enjoying its fruits or results is an act of sense gratification. Such actions are visible sometimes in gross and sometimes in subtle forms.
Thank you, brother. Okay. So, whatever we are doing, everybody is doing this material world in one form or another. It is nothing but lust, sense gratification. Maybe very sophisticated nationalism. Even this nationalism, social welfare activities, they are subtle form of sense gratification. So this is all, this material world is actually sitting on lust. If there is no lust, entire material world will vanish within no time. Or desire is the foundation of this material world for sense gratification. Okay. If this lust is not fulfilled, this transforms into wrath or krodha. When calm is not satisfied, suppose you have some desire, material desire, that is not fulfilled, that is, there's some obstruction in fulfilling the desire, then the lust again transform into something called as krodha, anger. And this anger pulls one down from mode of passion to mode of ignorance. रजोगुण से तमोगुण में धकेल कर ले आता है जीव को. If one's desire, because all the desires cannot be fulfilled, anytime we display anger means some of my material desire is getting obstructed. Always remember. Anytime I display some anger means my sense gratification is being obstructed. That's why I am getting angry. And this mode of anger is in the mode of ignorance. If you remember, we had done 2 verses in second chapter. Dhyayato vishayan vimsha, dhyayato vishayan pumsha, sangaste shubjayate, sangas sanjayate, kama kama krodha vijayate, krodha bhavati sammoha, sammohat pratibhamsava. Basically, when one is not able to fulfill his material desire, he displays anger. This anger pulls down one into illusion, and that illusion finishes or destroys the ability to discriminate between good and bad. You must have realized, experience yourself, when you're angry, you don't know what is right, what is wrong. In the mode of anger, one forgets. Yes or no? क्या गलत है क्या सही है कुछ समय के बाद पता लगता हो ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए है ना because one loses sense of discrimination when one is angry. Krishna will talk about this later. Kama, Krodh, Lobh, 3 doors to hellish conditions. Lust, greed, and anger. Lag, L-A-G, lag. Lust, anger, greed. 3 doors to hellish conditions. Lust, if fulfilled, leads to greed. If lust is not fulfilled, it leads to anger. Root cause is lust only. So anger, greed, envy, these are all different manifestations of the root cause, lust. So this lust has to be arrested. Prabhupada is saying, if you don't transcend from this mode of passion, Rajaguna to Sattva-guna, you will definitely be pulled into Tamaguna. And there's a huge danger when one is pulled into mode of Tamaguna. What is that danger? Kya danger hai? When one is in a mode of ignorance, he may lose this facility of human form of life. Next life, he will get lower grades of material bodies because of mode of ignorance. So a huge danger. It's like you are climbing a staircase, you have climbed up to 90 steps out of 100 steps, then you fall down. The 5th step. Again, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So falling down from human life is a huge risk if one is pulled down in the mode of ignorance. So this lust has to be treated immediately. इस काम का इलाज नहीं किया तो काम क्रोध में बदल सकता है, लोभ भ्रम में बदल सकता है और हमको फिर से किसी पशु पक्षी या पेड़ पौधों की योनि में प्रवेश करना पड़ सकता है. It's a very big risk. So we have achieved this human form of life after millions of lifetimes, and we again go back to square one. Repeat the same cycle. So there is an urgent need to transcend from mode of passion to mode of goodness, and then mode of pure goodness or spiritual platform, or go back to loving propensity rather than entertaining lustful propensities. Making sense or no? So if you don't treat this lust, there's a huge risk of missing again this opportunity of human life in the next birth. Okay, so we'll do next verse now, in which Krishna talks about different grades of lust. Different grades of lust. Why is somebody animal? Why is somebody tree? Why is somebody human being? So all these have different grades, thickness of lust. Okay. Next 38 number verse. Dhumena vriyate vahani yatha darsho malen cha yathol bena amrito garbhas tatha tenidam avritam. As fire is covered by smoke, as a mirror is covered by dust, or as the embryo is covered by the womb, the living entity is similarly covered by different degrees of lust. 3 एग्जाम्पल दिए यहां पर. पहला, फायर कवर्ड बाय स्मोक. ओके. सेकेंड, मिरर कवर्ड बाय डस्ट. थर्ड, एम्ब्रियो कवर्ड बाय वोम. ठीक है. 3 degrees of lust. Let's see the purport now. There are 3 degrees of covering of the living entity by which his pure consciousness is obscured. This covering is but lust under different manifestations like smoke in the fire, dust on the mirror, and womb about the embryo. When lust is compared to smoke, it is understood that the fire of living spark can be a little perceived. In other words, when the living entity exhibits his Krishna consciousness slightly, he may be likened to the fire covered by smoke. So this is a human being in which layer of lust is thin, like smoke on fire. When you see smoke on the fire, you can still see fire, correct? थोड़ा सा धुएं को इधर करेंगे, you can see the fire, correct? Which means in human form of life, it is relatively easier to get back to loving propensity because the thickness of lust is very thin compared to other examples. Although fire is necessary when there is smoke, there is no overt manifestation of fire in the early stage. This stage is like the beginning of Krishna consciousness. The dust on mirror refers to the cleansing process of the mirror of the mind by so many spiritual methods. The best process is to chant the holy names of the Lord. The embryo covered by womb is an analogy illustrating a helpless position. For the child in the womb is so helpless that he cannot even move. This stage of living entity can be compared to the stage of trees. The trees are also living entities, but they have been put into such a condition of life by such a great exhibition of lust that they are almost void of all consciousness. The covered mirror is compared to the birds and beasts, and smoke-covered fire is compared to human beings. In the form of human being, the living entity may revive a little Krishna consciousness, and if he makes further development, the fire of spiritual life can be kindled in the form of human form of life. By careful handling of the smoke in the fire, fire can be made to blaze. Therefore, the human form of life is a chance for the living entity to escape the entanglement of material existence. In the human form of life, one can conquer the enemy lust by cultivation of Krishna consciousness under able guidance. So this is the value of human life. Okay, so 3 examples given. 1, fire covered by smoke, in which the thickness of lust is minimum. And this position, this condition can be compared to human beings. Then medium layer is an example given in the form of dust on the mirror. This condition is compared to animals, birds and beasts, in which thickness of lust is relatively more than what human beings have. So relatively difficult to convert lust into love. And the third example is of helpless trees, given in the form of a child in the womb. okay, in which thickness is very thick, in a very helpless condition, like trees, can't move. कोई आके काट दे, कुछ नहीं कर सकते, कुछ भी कर दे trees के साथ, they can't react at all. The consciousness is completely obstructed, and hence for trees to convert lust into love is very difficult. That is the value of human form of life, wherein this enemy lust can be treated, not in other species. Okay, so treatment of lust is maximum possible in human form of life, is least possible in plants and trees, or even birds and bees. So with little Krishna consciousness exercise, one can get rid of this lustful propensities. Not possible in other species of life. That's why human life is valuable. One can develop this loving propensity, original, natural propensity, only in the human form of life. Making sense, Sanjay Prabhu? Ishita Mataji there? A lot of people have kept their videos off. Who is HTC Desire 10 Pro? Okay. आगे बढ़े? Next is, how does this lust impact human being? क्या करता क्या ये काम रूपी जो परत है करती क्या है? Which is the next verse, verse number 39. आवृतम ज्ञानम एतेन ज्ञानिनो नित्य वैरिना काम रूपेण कौन्तेय दुष्पुरेणालनेन च. Thus the wise living entity's pure consciousness becomes covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. पहला characteristic क्या है lust का? It can never be satisfied. Krishna has declared in Bhagavad Gita, you may have hundreds of material desires, you may have all means to fulfill those desires, but still you will never be satisfied. You fulfill 5 desires, 500 desires will manifest. So one can keep work. So what does this lust do is, lust makes a human being work like an ass, like a fool. He's trying to achieve something which is not possible. He's trying to fulfill his material desires which can never be fulfilled. But man is mad after fulfilling these desires, and hence he's working hard. है ना? आप बताइए, in your own experience, you had some material desire. For example, whenever we don't have house, our own flat, our own house, there's a desire to have something with us. हमारा अपना घर होना चाहिए, है ना? Bombay में when I was working in Johnson & Johnson, we had desire after I got married, we should have our flat. And we bought 1 BHK apartment in Thane, Hiranandani. 1 BHK. We were very happy. Our own flat. Then after 2-3 years, we felt this flat is very small. We need a bigger flat. This 1 BHK became 2 BHK, 2 BHK became 3 BHK. The needs will keep on increasing. You will never be satisfied with what you have. Whether it is house, whether it is car, even relations, you'll never be satisfied. That is the nature of lust. Krishna is saying what? Kama rupena konteya dushpurena. Dushpurena means can never be satisfied. So if one is working hard for material goals, you fulfill that material goal, you achieve that, something else will come. Then again work hard. You achieve that material goal, something else will come. Again work hard. So making a fool out of human being. What? This lust. Why is an ass working so hard? for little grass, isn't it? थोड़ी सी घास के लिए, वो घास नहीं मिलेगा उसको if he is not working so hard. So these material desires, dushpurena, can never be satisfied. What does the lust do is it covers our real knowledge. What is real knowledge? I am a part and parcel of Krishna and my duty is to serve Krishna. That knowledge is covered by this lust. When we forget everything with respect to Krishna, then our whole life is centered around fulfilling material desires, lustful desires. So why this is biggest enemy? Because this lust covers our original nature of serving Krishna and makes us work hard trying to satisfy our material desires, not Krishna. It is said in Manu Smriti that lust cannot be satisfied by any amount of sense enjoyment, just as fire is never extinguished by a constant supply of fuel. In the material example, क्या दे रहे हैं? Can you extinguish fire by putting more and more oil? You put little oil, fire becomes even more vibrant. Isn't it? Similarly, if you fulfill material desire, your material desires will become more vibrant, will multiply. That is the nature of lust. Krishna has designed this system very intelligently. He is not fool. Yeah. In the material world, the center of all activities is sex, and thus this material world is called Maithunya Agara, or the shackles of sex life. In the ordinary prison house, criminals are kept within bars. Similarly, the criminals who are disobedient to the laws of Lord are shackled by sex life. And the supreme lustful desire in this material world is sex life, isn't it? Advancement of material civilization on the basis of self gratification means increasing the duration of material existence of a living entity. So more and more we advance materially means more and more longer we have to stay in this material world. Okay. So what we call material advancement or creating new ways of satisfying material desires is a sure short way to ensure we don't get out of this material world. Therefore, this lust is a symbol of ignorance by which the living entity is kept within this material world. While one enjoys sense gratification, it may be that there is some feeling of happiness, but actually that so-called feeling of happiness is the ultimate enemy of sense enjoyers. That feeling of happiness from material enjoyment is our biggest enemy of sense enjoyer. So these three verses talk about lust, its origin, what can it do to human being, different grades of lust, and how does it impact human being by covering his original knowledge. And characteristics of lust means it can never be satisfied. However, we may try through different means, one can never be satisfied materially. Okay. The next 40 number of words, Krishna will talk about different sitting places. ये दुश्मन है, बैठा कहाँ पर है? कहाँ बैठा है हमारे अंदर? What are the sitting places of this lust in our human body? That we'll discuss in the next. Okay. In Bhagavatam, when Vaman Dev went to Bali Maharaj and begged for 3 steps of land, then Bali Maharaj said, "Oh Brahmachari, you're not very intelligent. You're asking for only 3 steps of land. I can give you villages, I can give you towns, cities, I can give you whatever you want. Why only 3 pieces of land, 3 steps of land? And then Vaman Dev tells him very nice verse. He says, Yavanto Vishayan Preshta Trilokayam Ajitendriyam Na Shaknuvanti Te Sarve Prati Puraya Tandripa, which means one who has his senses not controlled, he cannot be satisfied even by the entire wealth of entire 3 words, all the planetary systems, whatever wealth you have in this material universe, give him. But if his senses are not controlled, he can never be satisfied. So the wealth of entire universe cannot satisfy us. What can these small houses, flats, or some business or some big cars can satisfy us? Cannot satisfy us. You can look back into your life, last 10 years, 20 years. Do you think now, after you have attained so much materially, wealth-wise, name-wise, fame-wise, are you satisfied? Aren't you working still hard to get something which you don't have? There's always the urge to get more, get more, get more. More you get, more you want. Repeat this. More you get, more you want. This is the nature of lust. So Prabhupada writes, how do we remove this layer of dust? By constant chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. चेतो दर्पण मार्जनम, चित्त रूपी दर्पण को मार्जन साफ करने का एक ही तरीका है, chanting of the holy name. It cleanses this lustful propensity and evokes our natural love, manifests our natural love. When we hear this chanting, or when we hear Gita Bhagavatam, in Chaitanya Charitamrita is mentioned, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabunaye Shravan Adi Shuddha Chitte Kare Uday, means this Krishna Prem is there in every living entity because the natural characteristics, cannot be separated from living entity. Like sweetness cannot be separated from sugar. Similarly, this loving propensity cannot be separated. It is by nature there. Krishna Siddha Krishna Prem. Krishna Prem, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem, Sadhya Kabunai. We don't have to attain it from somewhere, from external source. It's already there. Then how do we invoke this? Shravan Adi Shuddha Chitte Kare Udai. When we hear Shravan Adi, when we hear, we chant Shuddha Chitte, it cleanses the heart, and then natural love for Krishna manifests. Chant and hear Bhagavatam, hear Gita. Gradually, this lust will be removed, the layer of lust will be removed, and natural love for Krishna will manifest once again. And we'll be protected from getting degraded to mode of ignorance. So very, very important section. If you understand this, then you have understood Bhagavad Gita. Okay, now time for discussion, questions, answers, comments. Twelve out of 23 videos are off. हाँ जी, कोई प्रश्न है किसी का? Any question, any comment? Or you can share what have you understood, any eureka moment today. Yes, Sunil Prabhu.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी.
Hare Krishna.
ये वर्ष हमने 39 वर्ष पहले किया है 2.71 के रेफरेंस में, एंड that time also we discussed on how lust begins and what are the impacts of lust. So the feeling of happiness is like itching, जो लिखा है,
Yes.
आप करते जाओगे और होती जाएगी, करते जाएगी और होती जाएगी, एंड देन बाद में यू रिपेंट हैविंग डन दैट.
Yes.
So it is a very good metaphor or comparison or whatever. Best to understand this word is itching is like matlab self.
Prabhupada gives you an analogy. Whatever happiness you get is like happiness you get from itching. तो थोड़ी खुजली होती है, थोड़ी खुजली करते तो थोड़ा आनंद आता है ना, अच्छा लगता है. It's a sense perception actually. What are you getting? Some sense perception. Feeling a little happy, good about it. But if you keep itching, keep itching, keep itching, keep itching, keep itching, that itching turns into a wound. Then becomes miserable. So how do you protect yourself from this wound? You have to control itching right in the beginning. You have to control the desire right in the beginning. Don't allow it to be fulfilled. Control it right in the beginning. Before you get trapped. It's a circle, it's a cycle. Tolerate that urge in the beginning. Suppose there's an urge to buy a new mobile phone. You have a mobile phone, it's serving all your purposes. Still, there's an urge to buy a latest mobile phone. Try to control it at that moment before you become a victim of that sense enjoyment. If you control it, 1 day, 2 days, you'll forget. Yes or no? If you buy, then you're always worried, kahin dah nahi jaye, kahin gir nahi jaye, kahin gum na ho jaye. You know? Today, these days, good mobile comes for 40,000, 50,000, maybe lakh of rupees. Just because of some immediate urge, you end up buying and then you suffer later on. So these urges to be controlled in the beginning itself. Like urge for itching has to be controlled in the beginning itself. Thank you, Sunil Prabhu. Anyone else? Yes, Mukul Prabhu.
प्रभु जी, मेरा प्रश्न ऐसा है कि आपने जैसे बताया कि भाई क्रोध जो है ना लस्ट के कारण आता है, और पर अब मान लीजिए इस मतलब प्रैक्टिकल नॉर्मल वर्ल्ड में हर इंसान के साथ जैसे कभी कोई चीटिंग होती है, फ्रॉड होता है या कुछ गलत होता है, तो नेचुरल प्रोपेंसिटी है, उसको क्रोध तो आएगा ही और वो ऑब्जेक्ट तो करेगा ही. तो वो क्या तमोगुण बन जाएगा? मतलब उसका मतलब अगर गलत बात के लिए अगर आप क्रोध कर रहे हैं, लड़ रहे हैं, तो वो तमोगुण थोड़ी मतलब वो इंसान का तमोगुण थोड़ी रिफ्लेक्ट करेगा. मतलब क्रोध आना तो स्वाभाविक है अगर किसी के साथ गलत होता है
तो जब क्रोध आता है तो वो भी स्वाभाविक है कि आदमी अपनी बुद्धि खो बैठता है कि नहीं? क्रोध में जितने भी पाप कर्म होते हैं क्रोध में होते हैं. मर्डर होता है, शुरू कहां से होता है? क्रोध से होता है. कहां शुरू होता है? क्रोध से होता है. मैं आ रहा हूं, आई एम कमिंग टू दैट. सो एज लॉन्ग एज वी आर डिस्प्लेइंग दिस एंगर wherein my desire is getting obstructed, it is still a mode of ignorance. But the same krodha, if applied in the service of Krishna, then it is not tamagun. Like Hanuman. Hanuman burned the entire Lanka out of anger. But it was in service mood. It is not tamaguna. Arjuna fought and killed so many people in Battle of Kurukshetra out of anger. A Kshatriya cannot fight if he is not angry, correct? But this anger was deployed in service of Krishna. It did not work. But in general, if we get angry for everything, maybe we are cheated, right? It will pull us down to the mode of ignorance. हमको लगेगा ये तो राइटफुल है भाई, वो मेरे को चीट किया. Nothing happens without any reason, na? He cheated you, maybe some time back you cheated him in this life or previous life. How do you forget this law of karma? Nothing happens without any reason. If somebody is cheating me, it's simply my karma coming back to me. If you get angry and hurt him back, tit for tat, then cycle of karma is not finished, it continues. If you tolerate this, Okay, ठीक है, मेरे पुराना कर्म निकल गया, and finish it there, then cycle of karma is finished. So by getting angry, the result is your karma continues. It is not finished. समझ रहे हैं ना? Why? That's why we need to understand if something happens with me, there is a larger perspective behind it. There's a larger reason behind it. It is my own karma coming back to me. Nothing happens, I'm a very innocent person and he is cheater and he's coming and cheated me. No, I must have cheated him. That's why he's cheating me. So it doesn't mean you don't protect yourself. You should protect yourself, but remembering overall perspective. In anger, we cannot respond properly. We simply react. So if anger is, tell me, you can find a solution to a problem with a cool head or an anger mood? With a cool head. Isn't it? So anger in no way is justified. Because mind stops working. Intelligence stops working. So it will not give you any solution anyway. It may be natural. Okay, so we have to control anger in all situations. It is dangerous for us. It pulls us down into mode of ignorance, and in anger we can do anything. Okay, make sense, Prabhuji? Convince me, Prabhuji.
थोड़ा थोड़ा हुआ है प्रभु जी।
गुस्सा हर स्थिति में हमारे लिए अच्छा नहीं है, चाहे हमको लगे कि ये तो जायज है, लेकिन जायज भी नहीं। Even if you have to deal with situation, we should try to deal with the situation without getting angry. Okay, then you can deal with situation more effectively rather than in anger mode.
अभ्यास करना पड़ेगा प्रभु जी।
Okay, of course, अभ्यास है। मेरा एक I have a tenant in Mumbai. He has not paid me rent for last 1.5 years. He is not vacating his flat. What can I do? What can I do? Can I go and fight with him? Should I take some gundas to get him out? I followed the right method. I just filed a court case. Let the court take its own time to deal with the situation. With the back of mind that maybe it's my own karma coming back to me. I must have cheated somebody. I must have not paid rent in my previous life to somebody. So getting angry will not help. In fact, it may spoil the situation. Suppose I take some gundas and go to the flat and get him out of the flat. What are the repercussions? Very severe, no? Yes or no? So anger does not help in any way. It makes one lose his intelligence, lose power of discrimination. What is good, what is bad. Okay, thank you, Mukul Prabhu. Very nice question. Anyone else? Yes, Vishwas Prabhu. Unmute yourself.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्णा
प्रभु जी, मुझे थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजन ये है कि हमने पहले बोला था कि एनीथिंग विच इज डिवॉइड ऑफ कृष्णा इज एन इल्यूजनरी सिचुएशन और थिंग, एंड ऑल दीज इल्यूजन्स ब्रिंग्स यू अल्टीमेटली मिजरी। तो just like we were discussing about Mukul Prabhuji's question, whenever we are angry, should we apply this concept that is it connected to Krishna or not? And if it is not connected to Krishna, we should not pay much attention because it's illusionary and it will bring misery. First thing. Second question is, Prabhuji, I sometimes wonder.
Let me answer this first, then we'll come to second question. Okay? Actually, both are same thing. In one of the classes we mentioned, Krishna tells in Bhagavatam, anything which may look real, if it has no connection with me, know it is my illusory energy. Means what? the gratification it is promising, it will not deliver. Okay, it is Maya, it is not real. Like, this mobile may look very real. It'll help me get satisfied, give me a lot of happiness. But if it is not in use in service of Krishna, this mobile can never satisfy me. It's illusory energy of Krishna. Similarly, what we discuss in lust. Lust is devoid of Krishna. And lust can never be satisfied. Same thing, no? Can never be satisfied with its illusory energy of Krishna. It promises some joy, some happiness, but doesn't deliver. Otherwise, if you put down list of material desires you have, okay, write down 10 desires, 20 desires, and you work hard to fulfill them. After 10 years, you write back again. Do you think you'll be satisfied? I have ticked all the 10 desires, or there'll be 10 more?
More.
Then that is the nature of lust. Why? It is Maya. You thought by ticking this, I'll be satisfied. Or tick ho bhi gaya, but still there's no satisfaction. Why? Illusory energy of Krishna. Promising something, not delivering. Both are same, no difference. ठीक है ना?
जी प्रभु जी. So the second question is somewhat connected to this only. Sometimes I wonder, क्या होता अगर जो महाभारत का सिनेरियो है, जो injustice हुआ था, if Krishna was not there to guide, what would have Arjuna or Pandavas have done, and उनको कैसे पता चलता कि they should be be angry and they should be fighting for the justice. उन्हें भी तो ये लगता है कि ये सब illusion है, माया है, and we should not do this.
So that's why they didn't want to fight. They didn't want to fight. Yudhishthira said, Baba, आप मेरे को राज्य मत दो, 5 गांव दे दो बस. Why he said, give me only 5 villages? He did not have desire to fight. Give me 5 villages. We are Kshatriyas. We will become king of those 5 villages. Survive. Correct? But he refused. He refused those 5 villages also. The Krishna went as a peace messenger. That also was refused. Krishna wanted this battle to happen. That's why Arjuna fought. Not that they thought it is being injustice with us, so we have to get justice, we have to fight. No. Arjuna was saying, no. What is the use of fighting? What will I get? Let me become a beggar and live my life rather than fighting and trying to get this kingdom. So they did not have any desire to fight and get the kingdom back. Krishna wanted to establish justice, dharma, and he instigated Arjuna to fight. Arjuna fought as a matter of service to Krishna, not to get the kingdom. Okay.
So in that situation, if Krishna was not there, it was not right for them to fight.
It was not?
It was not right for them to fight. If,
no, it was still right because it is the duty of a Kshatriya. So there are 2 platforms. If they had fought the battle without Krishna, they would have fought in line with their Varnashram system, Kshatriya dharma. Okay? That is also a dharma, but that is a material dharma. Now they are fighting according to the instruction of Krishna. This is a spiritual dharma. Both are obeying dharma only, but one on material platform, one on spiritual platform.
Because I'm just linking this situation to what Mukul Prabhuji is saying, that whenever injustice happen in life, should we fight or not?
We should protest, no doubt about it, but keeping larger view in mind. Getting angry is not a solution. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. We should still protect ourselves. We should apply all the means to protect ourselves, but without degrading our consciousness. Without degrading our
consciousness.
Yes. Yes, Naresh Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, one Mataji has posted one question. If you allow me, I can take that.
Yes.
So Shivani Mataji has written, Prabhuji, what is the difference between material and spiritual desire? And how to increase spiritual desire and decrease material desire? So the answer is simple. We read we understood in this class that whatever action we are doing for the satisfaction of our own senses, that is a material desire. And whatever action we are doing to satisfy the senses of Krishna, that is a spiritual desire.
Perfect.
And yeah, and to decrease our own material desire, the remedy is to chant Hare Krishna as much as possible.
Yes. And live in the association of devotees who have spiritual desire. Sangas
Yeah.
Samjayate Kama.
Yeah, so
kind-
Prabhupada has, sorry, Prabhu. So Prabhupada has given 4 actions to be done. A, B, C, D. A for association of the devotees. B for reading his books. C for chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And D for diet for taking the prasadam.
Yes.
So Prabhupada has given these 4 means to increase our spiritual
Yes.
activity.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Any comment, question? So please meditate on this section every day. भूलना नहीं है इसको. Remind yourselves every day. What do I do? हमारी साधना में कहाँ कमी है ना? So that this lust is not degraded further. It has to be upgraded to mode of goodness or developing desires to serve Krishna. ठीक है जी? So we'll close here. Thank you very much. Prabhupada ki jai. Ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhishya. Papa sindhu vayev patitanam pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo. Thank you very much, everyone.